Hello everyone, my name is Kim. I am a registered dietitian nutritionist within the United States and owner of KimRoseDietitian.com. Today I'm here to talk to you about Nutrium, which is a personalized nutrition software. So in today's overview, I'm going to go over the general basics of Nutrium. And to be honest with you, this is a software that I like because it is easy to use. Now I'll be honest with you, I am not that technologically savvy, and definitely when I do see patients, I do not want to use a software that's all complicated. So without further ado, here is the review of Nutrium. So hi everyone, I will be doing a review of the Nutrium website. So this is what the homepage looks like when you log in. So you can see right here, this is you, the provider, and this is your patient. One thing that I do like is that you are able to change the picture of yourself as well as your patient or client so that you can have a visual example of what they look like. So let us go ahead and get started. So the first thing is the client information, the reason for the appointment, expectations, other information. You have a spot for personal and social history, a spot for the food diaries on the right-hand side, eating behavior, most importantly, medical history, which is something that I always like to pay attention to. You have a pregnancy history if you're dealing with clients that may be pregnant, dietary history, goals, observations, and the last time I was in here in testing, I put patients say they like to sing and eat, and also different files that you can upload when dealing with this particular client or patient. Something that I do like about this Nutrium platform is if the client is not pregnant, it's not going to prompt you to put in anything for the pregnancy, or if you don't want to attach any files or state or write any observations, it's not going to prompt you to do that. This application adapts to your style of documenting, and that is what I do like. Moving right along to the measurements. You can see that there's different weight measurements, height, and it can get very detailed depending on what devices you may have. If you have a device to measure the abdominal skin fold or the hip circumference or the tricep skin fold, all of that is in the anthropometrics. Additionally, you do have on the right-hand side here new measurements related to weight, and you can change it. If you are not a person that likes to use kilograms, you can use pounds, and for my friends in England, there's stones as well. And you can also track the measurements of the weight. And something that I do like is that they do have a visual graph for you for visual learners such as myself. So let's hypothetically say I'm going to insert a new weight. So let's say my client gained 70, went up from 68 to 70 kilos. I'm going to go ahead and register that. You can see that it pops up right here. You can see the little graph is telling you that they have gained 3%, and you can see it in the visual graph right here. Other information is the analytical data, which includes blood pressure, cholesterol levels. I do like that. It gives you an overview of the body composition, which I think is really, really nice as well. Moving right along to the planning. So right here is the area where you can set goals for weight as well as physical activity. And this is why I stated earlier that I just love the way that Nutrium is set up because it is easy to use. So let's say, for instance, you decide that the current weight is 70, which that's what I put in, and you want the goal to be 59.2. If you don't like that goal, you can click on it and you can change it, and we want the goal to be 60. You just type in 60, press this green check mark, and voila, there it is. Additionally, for the percentage of body fat, let's say the current percentage of body fat is 20, but you want to change it. You want the body fat to be 18%. You go ahead and you click that and it registers it. And additionally, for the activity level, currently the client is sedentary, but you can change it to light, moderate, heavy, or very heavy. So let's do moderate to go ahead and change it. So it goes ahead and it registers the PAL, the activity level. The calculations, we have the body mass index, which is current, and our goal. It automatically pre-populates for you, so you don't have to do any math. With the BMR, you can click on this and they have the Harris-Benedict equation, the revised equation, Mifflin, and all the other equations. I'm typically a person that likes to use the Mifflin. That is what I'm familiar with in my current practice, and it goes ahead and it calculates everything for you. So that is amazing. And as well, the daily energy expenditure, you can click on it and you can do the BMR times the PAL, and again, the PAL is right up here, and it goes ahead and calculates everything for you. With the macronutrient distribution, I would say that this is one of my favorite features. You can go ahead and you can change it. As you see, as I'm moving it backward and forward, it automatically changes it as well. Or you can go ahead right here and type it out, and it's going to change it additionally. And you can see that the total quantity is in grams of the recommended changes that I put in, and it tells you how much percentage of the total food should be coming from the protein, carbohydrate, and fat categories, as well as the quantities per gram/kilogram. Also, for the nutrient quantification, we have the dietary fiber, and you can go in and change that. And you see that the recommended number changes as well. And also for the duration of the meal plan, this is something that you can go ahead and change as well. But if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. Moving right along to the meals, defining meals of the meal plan. So we see here, the client is able to go ahead and put in the breakfast, the morning snack, lunch, afternoon snack, dinner, supper, etc. But let's say, for instance, you have a client that does not have a morning snack. You can easily go here and look, remove that. And the same thing for the afternoon snack. And then additionally, you can even add a meal. So we can see here, we have pre-workout snacks, we have brunch, we have after workout snacks. So you can customize this according to the way that your client wants. And additionally, something here on the right-hand side, it tells you the energy provided, which we saw when we looked at the planning, and also the macronutrient distribution, which I think I'm a graph person, I'm a graph girl. So it shows me where the percentage of food is coming from in a visual depiction. Additionally, for the micronutrient needs, if you have a client that may need a reduced sodium diet, you can see like, well, you know, the diet is typically high in sodium at this time. Or if you have a patient that may have some kidney issues, you want to look at the phosphorus as well as the potassium. So it really gives a good breakdown of the micronutrients, which I think is great. And if you have a patient that may be pregnant, here's the folate right there. So I think this is a very good meal plan distribution. Right here are your recommendations. And the recommendations include physical activity, foods to avoid, as well as water in between meals. And you have a spot right here that you can easily click on something and write. Like something that I would say to a patient is try to get, hypothetically speaking, try to get 8 hours of sleep per night. Oh, I spelled per wrong. Per night. Or if you don't like something, you can just go ahead and delete that. And you save it right here, clicking that check mark. So there it goes. Scrolling up for the physical activity recommendations, you can click on this and you can recommend different forms of physical activity. And Something that I do like is that it has the METs, it has the calories by activity and the average calories per day. So you can easily click on any of them. Additionally, for foods to avoid, you can click right there and let's say that you want them to have sauces and gravies and you want them to have frozen meals. So you can go ahead and delete these items, and then you can save it. Or you can go ahead and click on the import and you can use the foods to avoid template and it has it all right here. So let's click on the one for a healthy lifestyle. You're going to import it and you see that it imports the data. And then additionally, for the water in between meals, you can choose the recommendation as well. Something that I did want to say, because I'm a person, I'm used to using milliliters. So if I want to easily go ahead and change that, I will go to my profile, click on preferences, and I see I have my system preferences. The language, whatever language you prefer. I prefer English. My weight, I can change it from kilograms to pounds or stones. My length, I have centimeters as well as foot and inches. And here's my volume. I can do fluid ounces. I think I mentioned earlier I can change it to milliliters, but within the United States, milliliters, fluid ounces, it can be easily converted. So I'll just go back, use the back button, and you can go back just to have the page refresh, come back and you see that it changes automatically. So I think that is a wonderful feature. Now this, the analysis has to be my favorite section of all. I kid you not. So when we did our Mifflin St. Jean formula earlier and we made some recommendations, we had stated that the estimated energy needs was going to be 1,956. We estimated the fat, the carbohydrate, protein, fiber, etc. So we can see here that not 100% of the needs are met. And you can see because there's this little green line and it's not all the way filled. Additionally, for the fat, it's 22% out of a 36% recommended daily status based on the presets that you use. And when you hover over it, it tells you specifically how much grams. And it does the same thing for the carbohydrates, the protein, and the fiber. And you can see when the client goes over, you have this little exclamation point that it says here that it's higher than what's recommended. So carbohydrate distribution is higher in relation to what is planned. And same thing for the fiber. So let's look at the carbohydrates. So specifically, it gives you a breakdown. It tells you where the carbohydrates are coming from. It tells you if it's sugars or other sources. Same thing for the fat. It goes over trans fat, saturated fat, mono, as well as polyunsaturated. And it tells you how much percentage of their foods they're getting from these sources. Here's the macronutrient distribution, energy and protein distribution, the water intake, tells you about the physical activity as well as the micronutrients. So this line right here represents 100% of the RDA. So it tells you if there's a micronutrient that goes over. Likewise, it tells you the different food groups that the person is eating a lot of. So this person is eating a lot of sauces and gravies. It really gives a good description. So if you really want to tell your client, hey, increase your intake, half of your food should be coming from hypothetically speaking, the vegetable group, it can give you a good visual description. And also these are the foods that the client is eating the most of based on the energy needs. And if you click this, it tells you the least as well as the greatest. And also the macronutrients by meal distribution. So we see here for lunchtime, lunch is quite heavy compared with breakfast, dinner, or the snack. And then finally, the deliverables, which is how you prefer to send this information to the client. So something that I did want to say on the analysis that I forgot, you can easily print that out for the client.
and send it to them so that they can have a visual description as well. Besides printing it out, Nutrium has a phone application, so you can do it through the Android or the iOS, and you can generate a password. But most practitioners don't want to know their patient passwords or their client passwords, so you can send them an access. Here's the PDF format that I was telling you. You can print it out. You can send it to them as well via message. And then also, if you do download this on your phone, there's a messaging system as well. Something that I do like is this patient preference, which you can enable and disable for each and every single client. So, for instance, let's say that you accidentally disable the weight feature. So in order to enable it so that the client can tell you, hey, this is my weight, you can just click right here, enable. Or let's say, hypothetically speaking, you want them to start tracking their own weight and being a little more hands-on with their overall nutrition care, you can go ahead and disable that feature. Finally, here are the appointments that you can go ahead and set up. So if I want to see this, I have an example here already, but let's say I want to see this client on the 16th, and I want to see them at 1300, which is military time, which I think is phenomenal, so no one gets confused. So I will go ahead and confirm that appointment. I can put my scheduling notes, will meet at the clinic, schedule the appointment. It's confirmed, and you're going to see this green line. So typically green means confirmed, orange means not confirmed, and red means canceled. So then when you're all done, you click this, finish the appointment, so that all the information is saved, because you don't want to lose any of the information. And then that's basically it. Additionally, if you go over here in this section, some of the features are the same, which I showed you the appointments. You can go ahead and add different patients here. It's quite simple. It's laid out very well. Add new patients. This is the messaging system, which I was talking to you about earlier, which I don't have anything here as yet. I will though. And it tells you the different number of messages that you're getting from the clients and what clients are using the messaging system the most. And these are for the clients that do have the application on their phone. One feature that I do like is the foods. So you're able to search the USDA content of a variety of foods. And specifically, if a patient is on a supplement, whether it's a specific type of multivitamin, it's not in the Nutrium system yet, but what you can do, you can take the label and you can just add everything in. Just go ahead and change the numbers and add it in. And then also for the recipes, you can go ahead and create lovely recipes. And I knew that this is a feature that they recently worked on. When you're creating the recipes, you're able to print recipe cards, which these cards look so good. They're very presentable as well as professional. And then also you can create for your client or patient a list of equivalents. So hypothetically speaking, if I'm speaking with a client that I'm saying to them, teaching them about diabetes, and I say, well, here's an example of a carb that is 15 grams, I'm able to create a list of all carbs that are 15 grams for them, as well as print them out. And these are the templates here. So if I want to put my client on a 2,000 calorie diet with no food restrictions, here is a system template, and it populates everything for you, along with that great visual that I was telling you about earlier. And then finally, for the activities, which I think I showed you guys earlier, the client is able to track the activities. So guys, this is it. This is really the basis, the overview of the Nutrium application, and I think it's just phenomenal. My favorite feature would definitely have to be the foods, as well as the graphical representation. So I hope you guys definitely enjoyed this.
So this is the overview of Nutrium. It is easy to use, as I stated before, and definitely a great visual tool. Thank you for watching. Bye.